Imagine this. It's your first day at a new job. You walk through the door, and within the first hour, 10 different people come to introduce themselves, and every single one of them asks you the same question. So, tell me about yourself.
Do you know what to say? Do you know how to say it confidently in English? Today, we are going to help you with exactly that.
Welcome to ClearTalk English, the podcast that helps intermediate English learners improve their listening skills through natural conversations about everyday workplace situations. I'm Emma.
And I'm Daniel. In today's episode, we are talking about introducing yourself at work. By the end of this episode, you will know how to introduce yourself on your first day, how to explain your role clearly, how to talk about your previous experience, and how to make a warm, confident first impression with new colleagues. Let's get started.
Daniel, let's start with the big picture. Why is introducing yourself at work so important? Because it's something you only do once, but it sets the tone for every relationship that follows.
That's exactly right. Your introduction is the first thing your new colleagues know about you. It shapes how they see you, how much they trust you, and how comfortable they feel working with you. A confident, warm introduction makes a very strong first impression.
And the good news is that work introductions don't need to be complicated. You don't need a long speech. You just need a few clear, natural sentences that tell people who you are, what you do, and perhaps a little about where you come from professionally.
Let's start with the most common scenario, introducing yourself on your first day. This usually happens in a few different ways. Sometimes your manager will take you around the office and introduce you to people individually. Sometimes you introduce yourself in a team meeting, and sometimes it's a mix of both.
In all of these situations, the core information is the same. You want to say your name, your role, and something brief about your background or experience. For example, "Hi, I'm Emma. I just joined the marketing team as a content writer. I've been working in marketing for about 5 years, most recently at a digital agency."
That's a great example. It's short, it's clear, and it gives the other person enough to know who you are and what you bring to the team. It also opens the door for follow-up questions.
And that's something worth thinking about. A good introduction invites conversation. If you say something specific, like mentioning the kind of company you worked at before or a project you are excited about, you give the other person something to respond to.
Exactly. An introduction isn't a one-way announcement. It's the opening of a conversation. So you want to end it in a way that invites the other person to respond, either by asking them a question or by saying something like, "I'm really looking forward to getting to know the team."
Now let's talk about introducing yourself in a team meeting. This is slightly different from a one-on-one introduction because you are speaking to a group. The energy is a little more formal and there is less back and forth conversation.
In a team meeting introduction, it helps to be a little more structured. Start with your name and your role, then give a sentence about your background, and then say something about what you are looking forward to in the new role. Keep it to about 30 to 45 seconds.
For example, "Hi everyone, I'm Danielle. I've just joined the team as a project manager. Before this, I spent 3 years working in logistics at a supply chain company. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you."
That hits all the key points: name, role, background, and a warm closing line. It's professional, it's friendly, and it doesn't go on too long.
One thing I want to mention is tone. Your tone during an introduction says as much as your words. If you speak clearly, make eye contact, and smile, even when you are feeling nervous, you come across as confident and approachable.
And it's okay to feel nervous. Almost everyone does on their first day. But remember, the people you are meeting want you to succeed. They are not looking for you to be perfect. They just want to see that you are friendly and genuine.
Let's talk about explaining your role in the company. This comes up not just on your first day, but throughout your career, whenever you meet someone new in a professional context. Someone at a conference, a client on a call, a new colleague who joins later.
And explaining your role clearly is a real skill. A lot of people find it surprisingly difficult to describe what they actually do in simple terms. They either go into too much detail or they use too much technical language that the other person doesn't understand.
The key is to match your explanation to your audience. If you are talking to someone in your field, you can use professional language. But if you are talking to someone outside your area, use simple, clear words. For example, instead of saying, "I'm responsible for end-to-end content strategy across multiple digital platforms," you could say, "I write and manage content for the company's website and social media."
Same job, but the second version is much easier to understand and much easier to connect with.
And then there's talking about your previous experience. This is a natural part of introducing yourself, and it gives people context for who you are professionally. The key here is to be relevant. Focus on the experience that connects most directly to your new role.
You don't need to give a full career history. 2 or 3 sentences is usually enough. Something like, "Before this, I worked at a mid-sized tech company where I managed a team of 5 people and led several product launches." That tells the person your level of experience without overwhelming them with details.
And here is something I think a lot of people forget. Making a friendly first impression isn't just about what you say during the introduction. It's also about what you do in the days after.
That's such a good point. Remembering people's names is one of the most powerful things you can do. When you meet someone, repeat their name back to them. "Great to meet you, Sarah," and then make an effort to remember it.
Asking people questions about their work, their role, their experience, showing genuine interest in the people around you, this is what builds real connection. A good introduction opens the door, but it's the small conversations that follow that make the relationship real.
I remember my own first day at a company very clearly. I was introduced to about 15 people in the first 2 hours. By lunchtime, I could only remember maybe 4 or 5 names. I felt embarrassed, but I also realized that everyone understood. Starting a new job is a lot to take in.
What did you do to recover from that?
I spent the first week making a real effort to learn 1 or 2 new names each day. When I saw someone in the kitchen, I would ask a question to start a conversation and use their name when I said goodbye. It made a real difference very quickly.
That's such a practical approach, and it shows that first impressions continue beyond that very first moment. The whole first week, even the first month, is part of your introduction to a new workplace.
Absolutely. And being curious, being open, being willing to ask questions, these qualities say more about you than any prepared introduction ever could.
Now let's look at 6 useful phrases from today's conversation. These are all natural sentences you can use when introducing yourself at work.
Let's do that. The first phrase is this. "Hi, and I've just joined the team as..." For example, "Hi, I'm Daniel, and I've just joined the team as a project manager."
The second phrase is, "I'm really looking forward to working with all of you." This is a warm, friendly closing line for a group introduction. For example, "I'm really looking forward to working with all of you and learning more about the team."
The third phrase is this. "Before this, I worked at..." A natural way to introduce your previous experience. For example, "Before this, I worked at a digital marketing agency for about 3 years."
The fourth phrase is, "I'm responsible for..." A clear way to explain your role and what you do. For example, "In my new role, I'm responsible for managing the company's social media content."
The fifth phrase is this. "Great to meet you." A simple and warm phrase to use when you are introduced to someone new. For example, Great to meet you, Sarah. I've heard a lot of good things about the team.
And the sixth phrase is, I'm still finding my way around, but I'm really enjoying it so far. A natural, honest phrase for the early days in a new job? I'm still finding my way around, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Everyone has been so welcoming.
Now let's look at 4 vocabulary words for today's episode.
The first word is impression. An impression is the opinion or feeling that someone forms about you when they first meet you. For example, she made an excellent first impression by arriving early and introducing herself confidently.
The second word is background. In a professional context, your background refers to your education, experience, and skills that you bring to a new role. For example, he has a strong background in finance, which made him a great fit for the accounting team.
The third word is role. Your role is your position or job within a team or company, what you are responsible for. For example, she explained her role clearly so that everyone understood what she would be working on.
And the fourth word is colleague. A colleague is a person you work with. For example, he introduced himself to his new colleagues on the first day and quickly felt part of the team.
Here are 3 reflection questions to think about after this episode. Question 1. Think about how you would introduce yourself in English at a new job. What would you say about your name, your role, and your previous experience? Question 2. What do you think is the most important part of making a good first impression? What you say, how you say it, or what you do in the days that follow? Question 3. Which of today's 6 phrases would you feel most comfortable using? How could you practice using it this week?
Today, we talked about how to introduce yourself at work, on your first day, in a team meeting, and in one-on-one conversations. We covered how to explain your role clearly, how to talk about your previous experience, and how to make a warm, lasting first impression with new colleagues.
Thank you so much for listening to ClearTalk English. Introducing yourself is one of those skills that gets easier every time you do it. So keep practicing, keep speaking, and we will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.